What you got with the property? You did that. Time like this, but I like just.
Okay, thank you, Denise. I think. We'd like to welcome everybody to our Morgan City Council work meeting. And I don't see any. Let's go to item number 1, second amended agreement for annexation and development of land between Morgan City and Sean D. and Lisa C. Priest. Resolution 2435. I don't see them here. I did.
Said they were in town, so maybe they'll show up at the 7th.
So maybe I can, do we want to discuss that at all, or has everybody had a chance to look at that?
Just a quick review by Ty and we'll move on.
I talked to them today
Good comment.
and they're ready to sign it away.
That's good. So we, Mayor, if I
Yeah,
respond
Please
to
do, yeah.
David, so. Just kind of the path that we've been on, we had an annexation agreement, that all went through, and then there were some requested changes to that one, and so this is the second one. We've, adopted the second agreement and taken it back to them, and they had some additional changes, and so this is the revision of that one. So the second one never actually got signed. It went back and well, the first one didn't get signed. We passed the second one, but that also hasn't been signed. It has extra changes.
And they didn't sign the first amendment,
Right.
so now we've got the second amendment. So.
And that's what this one is. Yeah. That's exactly what I thought I was trying to say. Like in my mind, the picture. One it's called, so we should have, but no, I was like, yeah, that's good job. First, second, who's on first? Who's on? So
And,
anyway,
this agreement now is the red.
With the changes.
Yeah, with the changes.
so in short,
Get an email back from both Garrett and Lisa that they had reviewed it and they were.
okay, so we really worked with them to accommodate the development in order to make it function and, we got to a point though, if we can't maintain the sewer line where it was proposed to be placed, which will work, then we just wouldn't be able to move forward, so, this final one, what's the, does it provide a turnaround or an exit?
You want me to explain?
Yeah. On how, where we ended up.
Okay, the reason why they wouldn't sign the first amended agreement was the plat and the language in the agreement had a 20-foot easement going clear down here. And they said they wouldn't give a 20-foot easement. After negotiations, they went to a 10-foot easement, which is access only. Kel's okay with it. He just needs 10 feet to get the truck down to here where the 20-foot easement starts so that he can maintain this sewer line when it goes in. So, and they're okay with giving 10 feet.
Yeah, so that
For lot 2.
the 10 feet provides so that there doesn't have to be a turnaround. So as long as you can get a truck in and out going one direction, from 700 over to
So he
600.
has a continuous turn here.
So it's only
Yeah.
10 foot on lot 2.
Yep,
On lot two's 10 feet, and then on Garrett's lot, it starts the 20-foot easement for
all
the
way
sewer
down
line,
to the property.
all the way down here and across there.
yep.
Is that the only change? Is
That was the only change from the First Amendment to the Second Amendment. The council approved the First Amendment, but they didn't sign it.
This is what they did.
This they have approved.
And they asked, didn't you say Kale was okay with this? He was okay with,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back and forth on like 3 different options, and this was the one that was finally acceptable. It just wasn't until they went to record that they realized that there was a 20-foot easement all the way to 700, so. Or Old Highway.
so that sewer line's gonna come all the way down there and tie into the existing sewer line down there. Is that correct? That goes across the bottom of that property?
There's a,
Yeah, it won't go all the way up to Old Highway. It's gonna end where the 20-foot easement ends.
Right here, it'll end.
guy's gonna say.
It's gonna be the
there's-
start of the sewer line right there.
Isn't there an exhibit in our packets that shows that?
Down.
Yeah, and I have a new one for you, because Matt gave me a new one, which is, so this is the new drawing from Matt that shows the 20-foot easement here,
Yellow dot.
and this is the 10-foot easement right there. So it's outlined for both of their easements, and this is access only on that 10-foot.
And the 3 homes, existing homes, aren't required to hook to the sewer until the property below develops.
There is no sewer line.
There's no, yeah.
Right, but
It's
they
just
don't
an
have to put
easement.
the sewer line in
Well, if the sewer line goes in, they would be required to connect
below them.
once they're within 200 feet,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Of an
where
actual
Garrett's
sewer
putting
line.
it down 600 north,
Yep.
that doesn't require them to hook.
Mm-mm.
And Arlene's granddaddy dens, she wouldn't be required to hook.
Until this develops.
Yes.
In Matt's staff review, there's a bullet point that bothers me just a little bit as I read through this. It said future / home property improvements of annexed property may initiate a connection to city water and sewer utilities. For example, the connection to the sewer or water main may be necessary for a building permit for a new construction or substantial renovation. May be necessary?
Yeah,
I mean, wouldn't that be required?
yeah, it should be. If it's new construction, it would require, yeah, but
And and I assume we are requiring that, I'm guessing, right? Because
yeah, I understand you can put required if you want, but there's really no way around it.
well, it's just Matt's notes, but I just thought that was
Yeah.
an interesting way of wording that.
But if someone does a new build, they would not be allowed to put a septic tank in anyway because they were within the city limits.
Wasn't that reference to both water and sewer? Or-
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sewer or water main.
so we
yeah.
would never permit a building permit without the services.
But a renovation, you know, if they were to renovate and require the same size line, may not require an upgrade or.
Yeah, if it's just a building permit, yeah.
Building permit for them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and you know, his
He
last
kinda tied
sentence,
them both in
his
together.
last sentence is homeowners may hesitate to pay the impact and connection fees associated with these services. So
Yeah.
I think we'd want to avoid that, wouldn't we?
Yes. I think the original agreement actually refers to the fact that if they build something new or if they, if they were to, the south area improves, they have to connect out. So this is just, like I say, Second Amendment. Just regarding that sewer
I
easement.
mean, kind of what we're going through a little bit right now. I'd like to make sure that's pretty well cut and dried right there.
There is a agreement with the city on that property that when it does develop, they have connections,
We have five
five
total sewer connections.
Okay.
on the way back when we ran our sewer line through that.
Yeah, wait.
Way back, that happened since I've been here.
You're not away back yet?
I hope not.
We're way back.
If I start having to fix problems I created, I've been here too long.
Interesting discussions.
Any more discussion?
Don't say that. I've
We-
come sooner than you
Are
think.
you willing to make a motion?
Well,
It's a work meeting.
You've got to start.
Then I'll wait till.
Wait till the real meeting?
But it's good to know we're gonna move right through the meeting.
We haven't started your regular meeting yet.
He's already there.
Okay. Let's move to item 2, amendment to Title 1, Chapter 1-15, consolidated fee schedule of the Morgan City Code by amending the residential garbage fees to include recycling and an increase to commercial garbage fees, ordinance 2413. Everybody got that one in their head? Has any of you been bombarded with residents?
Yeah.
Well, here's what I say about that though, Mayor. I think we need to just inform our residents of why this is happening. I mean, all you gotta say is a pretty simple sentence and we can fix a lot of problems. I think we need to start a campaign of why this is gonna happen.
And the district's gonna provide educational material.
Yes. Yeah, you're up on this, Tony.
We'd have Preston have a moment and talk to us about this. Preston Lee, who's
Yes.
Wasatch Integrated Management. Preston also lives here in Morgan City, over in Red Rock, so he has a vested interest in this, so. That's Fox Point. Did I say Red Rock?
It's great.
Fox Point, I'm sorry, Fox Point.
That's okay. Anywhere in Morgan.
Yeah, you live in the city. that's
Yeah,
all.
that's all that matters. Yeah, I'm Preston Lee, Operations Manager at Wasatch Integrated. Here to support, you guys are actually our marquee city right now, where everybody, we're directing everybody to you guys. We went to Sunset and said, you guys need to just do what Morgan's doing. They're doing great. So, yeah, it's great. We need it to extends the life of the landfill and of future landfills, and it's just the right thing to do. So.
Past time.
Yeah.
Is the county moved on this then? They were going to, they did.
I went to their meeting 2 weeks ago. Yeah, and they did and passed it, and yeah, everything's
Hey, good.
good.
Their fee schedule would be different than ours, though, is that correct?
It is, yeah, it's a little bit different. I think they're all purchasing all of the cans for the county, including for Morgan City, and then where you guys are just buying it from Morgan County. But yeah, their fees, that I think they're a little different than what I pay.
Same
So
concept.
it's one order, but we.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't
Their
think,
price will be the same price as our price. They're all doing the same.
We always, that was from the get-go, we wanted to be in pretty much in lockstep.
Oh, okay, I thought it was.
so the price per can on the residential will be the same as the county, or that's what we're proposing.
To Eric's point, Preston, maybe you can talk about this for just a second too.
You can sit down and I'll have to stand in front of everybody.
I think we all agree that there's gonna have to be a an awful lot of education on this and, so could you speak to that for just a moment as well?
Yeah, so we are currently in an RFP for this education. We've narrowed it down to three firms that are going to help us with this distribution. We've got all the designs done on everything. We just want to make sure that there's a company that's big enough to handle, the potential of 40,000 mailers across our district. Of course, Morgan Cities is a small portion of that, but it's still tied into the same. And so we hope to have that done by the end of the year. We just went out, I think he's releasing it tomorrow. And then we'll award and be prepared in January. Not that you guys are really going out in January, but we'll be prepared to start mailing out in January. We want to make sure that 1 month before your residents get that can, they get something in the mail. It's a packet, has a series of informational cards and letters for them to prepare them for it. And then once the can rolls out, there'll be a second mailing that has a little bit more precise information. There's going to be some stickers on the cans and some help.
I just might mention too that, Jeffrey and I've sat in on some of these meetings in COG and Teresa has been a really big part of this, but I was a little surprised, Teresa, there's how many second cans are in the city? Do you remember?
238 in the city.
200 and something second cans, and those folks are paying what, $38, double the $19.
And then there's
So-
a handful of third cans.
There's, I don't know, 1,200 cans total, something like that. Anyway, but I guess my point is for folks like that, that's got a second can, if they no longer need a second can because they're going to have a recycling can as well as a black can.
I currently have a recycling can.
And there's already, what was that? I think that number was 600 and something people.
Right, but I only put a third of my waste in my garbage can,
Your
so I only
garbage can.
take it out every couple of weeks.
Well, for some people, this is actually going to be,
Oh yeah, there's some savings,
well,
absolutely.
for you.
Yeah.
Kai, you
Yeah.
have a private, right? So for a lot of people, this would be a savings. So, those that are not involved in it, it'll be an increase, but
But they should see a decrease in how much waste they produce too, so the second can people should see.
And then, yeah, sorry, I don't mean to hide you. Oh, you're good. And then Preston, could you talk for just a second too about the incentive, the
Yeah, so there's a couple of things that we're doing to help offset some of this cost. Obviously, one is the incentive program, and so we'll calculate how much waste how much recycling you're producing and diverting, and then offset that with your household fee that we charge. And so there is quite a bit of savings there for the individual houses. So right now it's currently $7.20, and we'll discount that by the amount of material that you're able to recycle or divert away from landfill. That helps us from not having to transfer it to a regional facility, plus offsetting some of the use of the landfill. There's also a TRP grant that helps with the purchase of that can. And then there's also a closed loop partnership that we're working with that offers low or zero interest loans to our cities if they need to go that route. Some pretty cheap money. Thank you.
Got a question for maybe either Trace or Ty or Tony, perhaps. The ordinance calls for or makes reference to a new residential recycling program. Is there another document that refers to the program? And let me add to that. We've had a lot of discussion on whether it's mandatory, whether it's opt-in, opt-out and so forth. There's no reference to any of that here other than just a program, but what is the program that we're adopting?
Yeah, so there was two options. This one's a bundled service, so it not really spelled out in any document or anything like that. We just had to identify which route we were gonna go because it changes the incentive that we get from the district. And we're proposing a bundled service, so we've had several meetings beforehand and gone back and forth and then met jointly with the county, but it would just be called a new program for us because the message is that our rates are going up and it includes recycling. So we're starting a city recycling program where right now it's not city sponsored. It's an independent third party. So now our maybe program's not the,
Yeah, it seemed like a program to me would have some sort of a
yeah. So it could just be called
explanation.
recycling bundled service. Could just be service. Doesn't have to be program, but yeah, there's nothing to refer to as far as like, here's the,
I mean,
just a new rate includes recycling.
it just seemed like there was a bunch of discussion. In fact, I was even part of one of the meetings that boiled down to what are we going to do? Well, here's what we're going to do, but no references that other than just saying,
Yeah.
okay.
Most
So
most of
really
that
all this
was-
is saying is we're paying the additional fee for a recycling.
Okay.
Yeah, so what we're adopting is through just the fee schedule. A lot of the discussion that we had was on opt-out. If we did opt out, what were the conditions going to be? What were the price points? And because we're doing a bundled service, we don't have most of the conditions that we had talked about. In those previous meetings, a lot of that, like this is how it would work, stuff kind of was tied to the opt-out, like under which conditions can you opt out? And this is just adopting a new fee schedule, includes a increase to garbage service and includes a recycling can for everyone.
And the fact that we call it, and Preston, does a bundled service mean anything to Wasatch? Is that
Yes.
is that a definition of any
Yeah.
sort?
Yeah, it's the program that we'd prefer cities actually roll out. Actually, we put it in place to try and help cities with this because, when somebody moves into your city, there's always this, education that has to go on. With the bundled service, you don't have to have that discussion of whether or not they're going to opt in or whether or not they're opting out. They just pay a bundled service and they get a couple of cans and it's a done deal and that's just the program. So we put it in place to try and help offset some, future discussions that your staff might have with people signing up.
Point program is just something that you recognize, but bundled service captures it.
Yeah.
We don't have to refer to it as a program.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of a strong word, but I'll throw it out, and we've thrown it back and forth in the past, but this is what we would call a mandatory program. Everybody gets a can. There's, you don't have the option of, I mean, just to be clear and for our meeting, we don't have the option of saying after, if you don't want, or do we, if you don't want the can after a certain time, you can turn it back in.
But it's a bundled service, so that part, that's the word bundled, just means that it includes.
Bundling is the two cans,
The
as
two
simple
cans.
as that.
Yep.
Put
Yeah.
the can in, you're still gonna pay the fee.
Pardon?
Yeah, you don't,
I'm with Tony. Yeah.
You
You got
can-
you got a choice. You can turn your recycle can back in, but you're still gonna pay the same.
You're still gonna pay?
You'll still say the same amount of money.
So notice the hardship on there.
Yes.
That was always.
I thought of you when I saw
was a
that.
Sticky point with me right from the get-go a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah, good definition.
I kind of, honestly, originally, early on, I was sort of in favor of the opt-out, but the one thing that always did bother me a little bit was how this might affect those that are kind of really in need of a little bit of help. So I'm quite To me, this was an important part of this
I
hardship.
think another component of it that makes it work is the price point, if you will. It's reasonable, it's doable. That was a selling point to me. It wasn't exceptional or out of line.
Yeah, and one thing, when I created this spreadsheet, I underestimated the cost of the can. We didn't update the price proposal, so the can's actually gonna cost more than the 57. Aren't they like 60? Yeah, so I went off of like the last time we purchased cans, that price has gone up a little bit, but we're not proposing to change that rate. It just means that the payback for the can will take longer than what was estimated on 2 years. So we're still gonna have some,
Okay, good point.
and it's all estimates, so we still have to work it out and see how the program the bundled service, no program. See how the bundled service,
Maybe it will
works.
develop into a program.
I don't want to create a program.
I hear you.
Was that tired of
Not too
me?
many programs.
Yeah, it's just easier, just call it bundled service. I agree with what you're saying.
Is it worth making a change on the?
I don't think it'll matter. I don't think it'll change anything
Okay.
on the county's end either, just. And they also, I guess they did adopt 2550 instead of the 2525, so.
Copy of the resolution.
So that's what is proposed in our fee schedule, 2550.
Perfect.
Just to see where it lands, so.
I'd make a motion, except I can't.
Right now.
Yeah, if you want, it won't be-
Yeah, you can, but.
Can you make a motion to move on?
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
What we ought to do is just have him make all of the pending motions and then in the actual meeting say,
As soon as the
I-
authorities.
we
there,
approve all the
it's
pending.
done.
I guess you can,
That's
can't you?
right.
Pending
There we go.
commitments are now.
Pending
authorized.
commitments are now authorized.
Yeah.
I guess technically you could,
Yeah, you could.
Technically you could.
I'll say one final thing about this, and that is, I'm sure we're gonna have people out there that are gonna say, I'm not gonna do this, I'm not gonna
Then
wait.
fine.
Yeah, the only thing is maybe as a city council, maybe we ought to be cheerleaders a little bit and say, look, but if you do, if we can divert more of this out of the landfill, and recycle it, this diversion incentive is gonna save us a little bit of money. So, and that comes back to the city as a credit, right, Preston,
I think, yeah.
as a,
Or you just say, oh, that's fine. Wait till we raise your rates when we start trucking all of our waste out past
Yeah.
Twilla.
Start-
Then we'll talk.
start going down to Utah County or Twilla.
Yeah,
County.
wait till we have to go somewhere else. Then we'll talk. You want that?
That wasn't your best impression of cheerleading.
That's how I do. I just.
Anyway. Move on.
Okay, let's move on. Item C. Resolution authorizing and approving the Millard County Power Project power sales contract with Utah Associated Municipal Power Systems and related.
Thank you,
matters.
Preston.
Thank you, Preston.
Thank you. So I must admit on this one,
Thanks, Tracy.
way above my head.
I read through both of these. Right about.
asleep.
Yeah, fell asleep.
Yeah,
You,
so,
you speed read it?
Gary, this is just
so they're
great
pretty,
reading right here.
This is great, yes, it's a
I
novel.
blame-
I just curl up in front of a fireplace.
Curl up in front of the fireplace and read all these pages.
Yes.
Sleep.
and then Mayor, if you wouldn't mind, I just introduced 3 and 4 at the same time, introduction, and then
Yes,
we can do
perfect.
each, cause they go together, so.
Yeah.
Over a year ago, after the carbon-free power project, ended, UAMPS really had a serious discussion about what do we do for baseload power, and we put out a study, and we even offered Morgan as a place to locate a natural gas power plant. They were looking for
On a large scale.
on a large scale, just because we have the high-pressure gas line,
Right here.
and access to a transmission line. Anyway, they had criteria. Our elevation came in, a little too high, so the efficiency, we lost efficiency, but we had availability for air permitting, which you don't get on the Wasatch Front. So it has to be located somewhere where all of the conditions are met. And where they did a study, and these are the two locations that met all of our criteria. And they've already done some homework on the property, the transmission connection. And so that's kind of the project overall. It's two different plants, but it's kind of function as one project for us. We put it in on both projects. So that's why it's here for our adoption. It'll be UAMPS owned, both facilities, the one in Power County. That's probably why we selected the county, because it's named Power County. That's not why, but it's outside of Pocatello. And there's a couple of different property options, but that would be a base load. And then the one in Millard County would be a peak plant. So it would follow the market. The pricing that we got is pretty competitive. And there's always contingencies in there. You do the economic competitive tests and all of those things as we go, but as you know, we got out of the carbon-free power project before the project ended. It just wasn't hitting our criteria, but our subscription level to both of these, what I'm proposing is recover or replace everything that we had in the carbon-free, and then account for a little bit of growth while we're doing a project. I like that it's UAMPS owned. It's natural gas, a known commodity. You know, the fuels available, all that's been kind of taken into account. So technology exists. It's just picking they've looked and picked the units, the generators that would work to produce that price point. So overall, that's kind of where we're at in the project. They went over the agreements. Gary and I attended. Well, I've seen the agreements a handful of times, and like the mayor said, I understand enough to be dangerous, but Gary did review it just to see if he had any major concerns. They're pretty standard agreements. They have changed some of the terms over time to make sure we understand if at any point the project becomes infeasible, that we can end the project. The project management committee can kill the project on its own merit. So then it's all based on 85% subscription. I think that's where we left it. So if we get 85% of the participants, UAMPS participants, if we hit 85%, then we have ourselves a project. If after this round we don't have subscription at 85%, then we're not going to move forward with the project. So
Didn't it talk about scaling down the project though?
no. So then it's just not.
So
It's just not
85%
feasible.
is 85% of UAMP members?
Mhm.
Okay.
That's what we're saying as UAMPS, is if we don't have 85% of our own subscription, then we're not interested in doing the project. And that was the big lesson learned from the carbon-free project,
Yeah,
is we were a minority user of a ginormous project.
We had big players dropping out.
Yeah, and then the rest of the 15% subscription, we have another full year to get the additional subscription on board
Outside of UAMPS.
outside of UAMPS. And we're working with UMPA right now, the Provo and Lehigh, not Lehigh, Provo and Nephi and that group.
What's the estimated capacity of them? Has that been discussed, or
Yeah,
It's in that.
I'm sure it is.
There it is.
oh,
Why
thanks.
they didn't read it, so.
I was going as far as I can without my computer.
I gotcha.
So
That's the peaking facility.
yeah, the peaking facility is a 200 megawatt facility, and the other one's
360 megawatts.
360 base load.
Which is huge. I mean,
Is there an estimated price point? I was just curious.
1.3 billion for both of them.
Or you mean megawatt hour?
Megawatt, I'm talking about megawatt.
Yeah, megawatt
Yeah,
hour.
right there.
So the peaker, is between 93 and $167 a kilowatt hour or megawatt hour. And the base load one is 66 to 94. So the base load is pretty much market, like what we're hitting in market. And then the peaker is less efficient, but it would only be running at those hours where
Peak hours.
the peak hours. And so going into the future, we just see more and more volatility in the market, and peak load in the evenings is killing everybody. So
So does this change, oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Does this change our thinking then on a generator?
no, so the generator here, we've studied, I've been meeting with them, but, we're only gonna use it as a peaking plant internally. And the size of it will, pretty much just handle new growth. And if we bring on Geneva as a customer, Geneva would pretty much use the whole plant on startup capacity.
We're
So,
still thinking.
yeah, we're still
Still in the
we're still
back.
exploring that option. So, this one, because it's several years out, is really making sure we're covered into the
With the base.
future, but it's more likely, we're still putting in on other projects at a small amount. Just, they're all exploratory, and just like this one is, it's not a slam dunk, but as far as our deficit, as things come offline in the next 5 years, then we have a real deficit. So we'd just be purchasing off the market, which,
Would be,
yeah.
you don't want to be doing that.
Yeah, and,
Uh-uh, uh-uh.
and on ours, even on ours internally, there's times when you'd lose money running it on an hourly basis, but budgeting towards it, just instead of trying to guess the spikes, you're money ahead, losing for a few hours, as long as you know you're not subject to the huge spikes in the
Is the
market.
price out in the pool would still, at times may still be a little cheaper than what it would cost us to run it? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Yep.
So there's no possible hitch with a new incoming administration?
Not a hitch.
Maybe.
I mean, it
Oh, next time or this time?
Well, this time,
January.
No, this time it just gets,
but if it were more pro, what the good old days were?
well,
Fuel.
no, so that, actually, it doesn't really matter because it's based on air permitting, and that's been studied in Millard and in Power County. So there's no,
That's done by the state anyway.
yeah, well, and but it has federal oversight on your air permit, but
So if they fire up coal burners again, this,
if they did, it would be more expensive than the natural gas.
okay,
That's the real reason why coal's going away. If you get right down to it, it's the price
right.
and inefficiency of coal. So the quality of coal's going down and the availability's hard to get. So, there's the economics of, the options are rehabilitating a plant that's lived its whole life using coal versus just build a
Brand
Brand new
new
one
one, run
using-
on natural gas, because those coal-fired ones were about.
And you'd still have air quality
Mhm.
constraints as
Yeah,
well.
there's-
The thing of it is with the,
But if they're,
Which natural gas somehow might be more
it's cleaner.
plentiful?
yes.
Oh,
Well, and
They're building it by two major lines, the Kern and what was the other one up north? Line that
Kern.
goes through there.
yeah, I can't remember what that one's called.
It's a 4,000-mile line, I think, that goes up
Mhm.
to the northwest, and then the Kern, of course, goes through central Utah down to California. So they're there by design, like you say, for the air and environmental aspect, but also because of the
Yep.
supply of natural gas.
The other thing on the supply of natural gas is, there are places that are outlying natural gas in subdivisions, so you can't build a home with a natural gas heater in it. which means that it becomes more plentiful. So in other states where they're, by development standards, getting rid of natural gas altogether, it just means the ones that are willing to use it might get better pricing.
Yeah, I mean, something you even hear of doing away with gas stoves, you know, there's
Yeah.
talk of that.
Yeah. So anyway, those are the, so any agreements or?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
UAMPS, have they've made reference to it as a cradle to grave. Have they done any other cradle to grave projects?
That's a good question. I've
It's
only been there
It's a
for,
big undertaking if you start reading through the details on it.
yeah,
And do they have the expertise to do it?
yeah.
For, again, 1.3 billion, that's a lot of plant.
Yeah, and that's kind of what IPP is. So we have ownership in IPP and
Yeah.
it was the same
Right.
thing. We have all of the rehab costs and that's why the plant got, it's part of reinventing the plant, but it's not UAMPS owned.
Right,
So
where
that's
this
a-
is.
Yeah, this would be. So I'm not familiar with, we have a wind farm that's, the Horse Butte Wind Projects is UAMPS owned and it's
Okay.
cradle to grave, but
Okay.
it's not
Is
a comparison to what
Yes.
you're talking about.
as complex as what you're dealing with here.
Yeah,
In the, on the nuclear part, there were off-roads. In fact, we took an exit there
Mhm.
earlier, but the off-roads were available to individual participants. It doesn't sound like there is in this. It's either an all-in or an all-out.
right. Well, based on your level of subscription.
Right.
So it's a percentage of the entire project. So that's why the project management committee,
Which you'd be a member
I'd
of.
be a member of,
Yeah.
yes. So that's why the price points and the subscription and all of that. The other one had reimbursement provisions in it because of the new technology.
Mhm.
And it also had DOE funding associated with it. And that's where the reimbursement came from. And this is just us, this is just UAMPS.
Okay.
Okay.
What's the anticipated operating period of the plants? How long?
I think, I'm not sure if it says in the
I
document.
didn't see anything, but of course I probably didn't read it to the detail that Gary did, but.
Right, but I think everything's based like on a 30-year life cycle, but it's expected to go
Yeah.
well beyond that.
We won't be around.
Yeah, yeah, good point. It talks about a capital contribution and the fact that each participant could contribute to that. Is that
Yes.
optional? Is that something that you're expected to do?
Not expected to. It's just saying like, for some reason, if somebody has fund balance and they want to reduce their monthly costs on a price, then they can preload. They can,
So you make the contribution, your
rate goes
power
down.
cost goes down.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That's.
So it's just
okay.
tracked dollar for dollar, but
Okay.
we're not one of those entities with fund balance.
Okay.
We're not gonna pay Ed.
Do we,
Well, yeah, would have to borrow money to do it, so probably not.
I'd answer that question. Do we have to pledge any revenue streams, anything
Back it.
on part of the city? Is there any commitment that way?
Oh, no,
Okay,
no. UAMPS does we commit to pay whatever that cost is as part of the project.
right.
But we don't have to pledge like property tax or
Yeah, or or
anything directly.
electric revenues. We don't have to pledge any of that.
No, but we'll have to keep up on our bills, so we'll have to adjust rates
Sure.
accordingly.
Yeah,
Just
like you would.
whatever the
any-
price of power is, it just
Yeah,
becomes
that'd be
the
the
price
same
of
with-
power. Yeah.
With any purchase.
Yeah.
What are we looking at? I didn't pick up anything that said what Morgan expects to participate at what level.
So, two, on the base load,
Okay,
2.2 megawatts, 100, so 2.1 megawatts. And on the peaker, do you have that sticky note? 1.05 megawatts.
how do you arrive at that?
So our load forecast, so UAMPS does a load forecast and they say, here's all of your
They
current,
presented that to us, didn't they?
yeah, here's all of your current resources and like when Hunter goes offline or that plant ends, what do you have in the future? And then it has our projected growth at like 1.3%. So at any point, we grow faster than that, then it's just, right now, we're kind of on a steady state of growth because we haven't experienced that huge influx where we've done
Right.
10 or 15 acre subdivisions at a time, but we're gonna actually grow faster than,
Yeah,
we'll grow faster than our projection.
start to expand exponentially.
Yeah.
Section 2 on page 2, it talks about participants representative. Appointment of Ty Bailey as the representative to UAMPS and Clark Crooks is hereby confirmed. What about a successor, Gary? Do we need a successor clause in there? A kind of technical deal again.
Yeah,
So can I answer that?
yeah, go ahead, but.
So we have a, if I ever changed, we're the ones that nominate who participates on the project management committee. So we have a process to reassign our representative. If that makes sense.
I think it's in here somewhere. But I can't-
Oh, you mean, does it say in the document?
Who-
Sorry, Gary, I
Who
tried to.
constitutes that committee? And then how they're chosen?
Yeah, so once we have ownership, just like all of our other projects, we assign whoever our representative is. So it's me and Clark at the time, but
So do we need to spell it out in the sales contract?
I'm
I'd
not
say
sure.
if we ever hit there, we just end it.
Well, I don't know that we amend the power sales contract, but there,
No, I guess it's there.
probably a provision in there somewhere.
Yeah, just.
Let's see. Let me look at that. and-
Well,
Okay.
actually, we'll probably,
Let me look at-
where this one is just an agreement to move forward. I don't know that, like our other projects aren't managed that way. Whoever we designate as a representative makes the decisions on the project management committee.
I mean, the wording similar would make more sense to me rather than just a
I wonder if it's just,
specific person.
yeah, I wonder if it's just designated because this is the startup of a new,
This is just in the
But-
resolution. I don't see it. I don't think it's in the agreement.
it's just the resolution authorizing me to vote, I guess, just like our other resolutions.
Participant rep- They appointed, the resolution appoints you and as an alternative clerk.
I guess that'd be okay for the moment, and then the agreement allows for the change.
Yeah.
Does that work?
So once we have this is, I'm not named in the agreement though. That's,
In the contract.
In the contract, right,
Right. I didn't see
I don't
that.
think I would be, yeah.
Then I'm not sure I read every word in the.
But the resolution
pages.
here means that we're on board at whatever level and you authorize me to sign on
Okay, I
behalf of the
like
city.
that. That's fair. Let's talk about monetary commitment. Right today, if we approve the resolution and you sign the sales contract, what financial commitment have we made for the moment? And for example, they talked about a $5 million amount that they have to pay Rocky Mountain Power.
Yep.
And I think they're to the point of saying, we don't, UAMPS maybe doesn't have the 5 million, so everybody gets to pitch in. Any idea where?
Yeah, so most of that's capitalized. So most of like that 5 million, we have to post the money for it and then we get reimbursed like 4,900,000 and so Rocky Mountain is making people put $5 or $10 million on a simple $100,000 connection request in order to clear the queue of all the people they have in to review. So you got a lot of companies speculating, saying, I want to do a solar project. I'm going to put a request into Rocky Mountain Power before I even have a buyer or property or anything. So
That's
they-
interesting. The
yeah,
5
so we have a
million,
lot of little,
the dollar amount supersedes the smaller.
the dollar amount, just make sure you're serious about a project,
Uh-huh.
right?
Also,
So you have
okay.
to post that with Rocky Mountain Power, even just to get your connection request.
Gotcha.
Paid attention,
Yeah.
because they're trying to get all of the speculation
Okay.
out of the queue so they can actually just start reviewing real projects.
Okay, so but your point there is this, that could come back, but
It'll get reimbursed. And so as the project moves forward, that's what the project management committee has to decide is if we've committed too much. And then like if we go forward and I don't have a dollar amount, but if we spend 5 million, then we owe, 3% of 5 million. And then the terms of payback would just be set with the financing. So then it just becomes part of our power bill until that's paid.
So is this something we can carry on in the next meeting?
Yep.
Remember where we left off and
okay.
pursue that? Okay, this meeting's adjourned.
Good question. There's how the project management committee was selected. It's in section 5. So I think if it changes, it would have to change according to the agreement. Not necessarily a resolution allows I to start and proceed forward, but on page 19.
Then when there was.
This one has
We just never been appointed by the, yeah, no, not tonight, but just another time.
Yeah.
To clean that up. Okay.
Oh, Sean, how you doing? Good, Lisa.
Well,
What you guys doing?
This is, there's a copy for Garrett. Okay, so that's the Kilman water, that was. So this one shows the template here.
And part of the concern, and I throw it out to you in time. Part of the reason they can make it work is the Graham family. But they live on premise. You say there's a good chance that we have here. And we don't take that. And this is the hotel or residential. At the same time. It's not approved for long term. Yeah. It's a temporary. It's a temporary residence. So, but one of the reasons they can make it work is because they do that, because of that. So interesting. Yeah. So just that kind of heads up the second process. So federal government. And then back to just to respond to your question on how much extra time do we get on the landfill. When Wasatch came up here to present it originally, the engineer guy that you probably know him, that gets up, he's an engineer, but he gets up for Wasatch. Nate? Yeah, Nate. He said, oh yeah, this will give us 10 years or so. It was 60 days later. They said, oh no. 3 years.
Did you get one of these almonds?
Before we have to start talking about the Utah County.
They're really vicious.
It would appear to be a given. I mean, a no-brainer. All of a sudden now, let's try some talking about either bundled or either customer option out. That became more important, more relevant as it shot. So it's not that long. Yeah, that's. I knew that. Oh, okay. But I didn't know that you just. Found their microphones? Yeah. I didn't know the service for them. Like the original.
Maybe I'll split the bottle of water there.
Many chocolates. Thank you.
Need a shot of power.
But yes, from August through October, I was there. Kansas, Iowa, Nebraska, Oklahoma. I've been everywhere. Flyovers there. And I did not see one fight in my life. I've been through, this Wyoming. I mean, I lived 12 states in the last night. I haven't seen one Trump sign ever. Granted, where I was at, Oklahoma, where it wasn't even the county.
I was in my nobody told me that that whole state was a cornfield. I couldn't believe it.
Corn beans.
Was you traveling? Yeah.
Well,
Hundreds of miles.
Nebraska, my son lived in Nebraska. Same thing. It's very cornfields and beans. It's actually,
I bet it's pretty good.
I bet it is. I'm sure it is.
Well, welcome everybody to our Morgan City Council meeting, November 12th. Already 2024. What does that give us? 13 days to Thanksgiving or something? Close. Okay, I see there's one participant. So,
Yeah, that's just us as the host.
okay. Well, if there's anybody out there, welcome. Let's see, Eric, can I ask you to give the pledge?
Yep.
And Tony, you good for the prayer?
Yeah.
Thank you.
All rise. Please repeat with me the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Father in heaven, as we've been here this evening at the beginning of our city council meeting, we wish to take this opportunity which we have to express our gratitude and thanks unto thee for the blessing that thou hast bestowed upon us. We're grateful for the opportunity which we have to serve this community. We're thankful for this beautiful place we live and for this community in which we live in and for the freedoms and blessings we enjoy being part of it. We ask, Father, that thou might bless us this evening as we conduct the business of the city, that we might have thy spirit to be with us, to guide and direct us. That we might make those decisions which would benefit the community as a whole. We might always act in accordance to thy will. Father, we're grateful for those who've served in these positions in the past, and for all which they've done for us. We're grateful for those who serve in our military and keep a watchful eye on our country, and we're thankful for their service and grateful to them for their service and dedication, especially those who've given their ultimate sacrifice for us. We ask again, Father, that we might have thy spirit to be with us, to guide and direct us as we go through about this meeting, and we say these things humbly in thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. I would move for a motion to approve the meeting's agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Denise, that's unanimous. Item 2, minutes of the council meeting, October 22nd, 2024, and the warrants from 10/18/24 to 11/8/24. Has everybody had a chance to look at that? And if we're okay, I'll entertain a motion there.
Mayor, I've read the minutes and looked through the warrants and moved to accept the city council meeting minutes from October 22nd, 2024, and the warrants from 10/18/24 to 11/8/2024.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Denise, that's unanimous. Don't see any citizen comments. So let's move into item 4. Welcome, Priestess. This is a resolution adopting and approving the second amended agreement for annexation and development of land between Morgan City and Sean D. and Lisa C. Priest, Resolution 2435. So you're aware, we've gone through this in the work meeting. We've seen what changes were made. And I'd just ask you if you have any comments. Okay. Is there any more discussion that the council would like to give?
Steve, I've been waiting all night.
Now where it go?
I'd move to approve Resolution 24-35, a resolution adopting and approving the second amended agreement for annexation and development of land between Morgan City and Lisa C. and Sean D. Priest, Waylon S. and Michaela Priest, Gina H. and Blake E. Rouser, Arlene S. Christensen, trustee, and Deanne C. Johnson, trustee.
I'll second that motion, Mayor.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that's unanimous. Thanks for getting dressed up for that. All right.
I mean, we did discuss this in a work meeting prior to this meeting, so.
I think we're good. I think we're good.
Hey, thank
You
you.
can put on your apron tomorrow to get on that machine and you're okay. Okay. Okay, let's move to item B. An ordinance amending Title I, Chapter 1-15. Consolidated fee schedule of the Morgan City Code by amending the residential garbage fees to include recycling and to increase to commercial garbage fees, ordinance 2413. Is there any more discussion, or are you still excited, Dave?
I can't stand it. No, I don't have any more discussion.
Mayor,
Tony?
I will make a motion that we adopt ordinance 24-13, An ordinance amending Title I, Chapter 1.15 of the Morgan City Code by amending fees of the consolidated fee schedule for garbage service to include a new residential recycling program, and increase the commercial fee per can, providing for the repealer, providing for the severability, and establishing an effective date of June 1, 2025, or as soon as all recycling cans are delivered to the residents in Morgan City.
I'll second that, Mayor.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Dave,
Aye.
Eric?
Before I say aye, I just want to say on the record here that this is following the county's fee schedule also. So we haven't veered from that. This is what the county residents will be paying also. With that being said, it's a aye, A, whatever.
Tony?
Aye.
Thumbs up.
Jeff?
Right on.
Jeffrey?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. That's unanimous, Denise. And that fee is $25.50.
Hell of a buy. I keep having to say this and I apologize because I know we're being recorded and we'll have minutes and records of this. Anybody's listening to this, they think, boy, they're whipping through this in a hurry. Once again, this was discussed in our work meeting prior to this meeting, so I just want to make that point.
Again, thank you. Well, we're on item C. Resolution authorizing and approving the Millard County Power Project power sales. That's a hard,
You say that fast 3 times.
yeah. Contract with Utah Associated Municipal Power Systems and related matters, resolution 2436. Once again, this has been discussed in the work meeting, but do we have any more questions or concerns, comments?
I have a quick question. So Ty, as this moves on down the road, you know, if this becomes a reality and time goes on, would there be other agreements or approvals we need to make, or as far as these projects are concerned?
Yeah, I think, just like our typical, other projects, if there's ever a change to the terms, or if there's a decision to abandon the project, it would make a decision at the project management committee, but it would always have to come back to the, each elected body for any, adjustments in the contract. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I guess really what I'm asking is, it's a resolution, so, I mean, like any other resolution, it's sometimes a bit of a work in progress. If changes need to be made, they can certainly be made, and
Yeah, this just starts our commitment to start the project, but as the project develops, there's gonna be subsequent
right,
decisions to be made,
right.
decision points, and those always come back to council.
To get to this point, it appears we've got the 85% subscription.
We're close.
Yeah.
So, we don't know until all of the governing bodies
Right.
I'll sign in, but most of the subscription interest is similar to what was in the carbon-free power project. There's some larger ones that have the capacity to do their own large-scale generators in-house, if you want to call it that, that aren't necessarily interested in participating because they already have natural gas generation as one of their options.
Even
Just,
with that, we could still get 85% of our
Yeah,
numbers.
I
Is
think
that
we're real
just a
close.
numeric amount or by kilowatt?
It's by kilowatt, it's
Okay.
by megawatt. Yeah.
Well, you scale the project
Yep.
with the 85% of the people that need it or the
Well,
cities that need it.
it's based on subscription of the output of the plant. So the output of the plant isn't going to change.
No, but the output could be designed to be wherever you want it.
But we're basing everything right now off of the three
Right.
whatever,
And
because we're not
you feel
changing
that
technology
85% subscribe to that.
to that level. Mhm.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Could these two resolutions be taken care of with one motion? Separately?
Both things. And there are, yeah, and there are people participating in one and not the other. So each one has a chance of success or failure independently.
Probably why they're different capacities.
Yep,
Yeah.
different capacities and different locations.
Mayor? With that being said, I'd like to make a motion, but before I make that motion, I think one thing that we need to remember our citizens, our residents and citizens that we represent is the thing we need to do as a municipality and a city is look at our services that we provide and make sure that we can provide those services into the long-term future. And that's what this is doing tonight, is make sure that we are able to provide power and electricity to our residents and customers in a timely and a cost-effective manner, and this starts that ball rolling. So it's an important thing that we do, sitting here in these positions, is actually doing that. If we kick the proverbial can down the road, then we just end up with a lot of problems. And I've seen that lately in all my travels. There's a lot of municipalities that aren't willing to look forward into the future and try to make sure that they're viable for the future. But with all that being said, Mayor, I'll make a motion that we pass resolution 24-36, a resolution authorizing and approving the Millard County Power Project Power Sales Contract with Utah Associated Municipal Power Systems and related matters.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Dave,
Aye.
Eric,
Aye.
Tony,
Aye.
Jeff, Jeffrey,
Aye.
Denise, that's unanimous.
You ready for the next one, Mayor?
I am, except for I folded the tab on my paper and now
Got one question for Ty.
okay,
The Power County project talks about a single combustion turbine, where the Miller County's got 10 to 12 separate motors or units, I guess, or not an electric motor, but a unit, natural gas unit. Why the number, and I can appreciate maybe one's better for base and one's better for peak, but the single combustion turbine is for the base load. That seems a little risky to me, that if it went down, I mean, is it expected to run 100%
No, it'll,
30 years? If it goes down, you've lost a big part of your base load.
yeah, so they discussed that. They discussed that in the UAMPS meetings about what about adding a second one. So because maintenance will happen, there's gonna be times when it's offline, but that happens with all of our
A good point.
projects, but having all the extra moving parts and all of the extra things that you would have to do to double the engine, it doesn't make the project as cost effective as just having one unit that just comes offline when it needs to. So,
Of course, when you say it comes offline or online?
offline, like they'll take it offline for maintenance
Okay.
and that's the same as like Nebo or any of our
Yeah.
base load plants right now. They go off for a week at a time,
Sure.
sometimes 2 weeks.
And then you just look for power elsewhere and
Mhm.
there's a cost associated with it, just in a typical sense, in a
Yeah.
day-to-day operating sense.
You just try and pick a favorable season to
Yeah.
do that work. There's,
Was there any talk, or do you expect?
I just gonna
My
point
guess
out,
is that
you do it when-
Idaho doesn't.
you do it when
participate
you're least
in any
busy.
of this.
when it's least
Here's Utah going into Idaho. Would there be any concern, environmental otherwise, that what did they get out of it? That, what does Idaho get out of it?
no, so it's,
We got members in
That-
Idaho.
yeah, that happens. That happens all the time. So they'll still receive whatever
It-
property taxes and.
There wouldn't be you wouldn't find stiffer or a harder acceptance in Idaho than maybe Utah.
No, yeah,
Okay.
no,
The fact that, they don't benefit from any of the power.
Yeah.
I guess in answer to your first question, Dave, is that, and I think of, you know, my previous employer, when we'd have scheduled maintenance shutdown
Mhm.
and they'd be scheduled, but they typically would be scheduled at a time that was less intrusive on our demand, you know, than
Gotcha.
other times. So not to make, not to say that there isn't emergency shutdowns,
It's
but
part of the day-to-day management.
yeah, but I would assume that they would be looking at their scheduled maintenance shutdowns when, you know, not when it's 105 degrees out, you know,
Yeah,
but I'm
when
being
it's
my
mostly-
guess, so.
Those are good answers. Yeah, thanks, Ty. That's all I have.
Once again, this was discussed, work meeting. Is anybody prepared for a motion?
I'll do it again, Mayor.
Okay,
I'll make a motion that we pass resolution 24-37, a resolution authorizing and approving the Power County Power Project Power Cells contract with Utah Associated Municipal Power Systems and related matters.
Second,
we have a motion and a second. Dave,
Aye.
Eric,
Aye.
Tony,
aye.
Jeff, Jeffrey.
Aye.
Okay, Denise, that's unanimous. Okay, let's move to item E. And that is a resolution adopting and approving an economic development incentive agreement between the Morgan City Redevelopment Agency, Morgan City, and Revaba Morgan LLC, doing business as Comfort Inn and Suites, Resolution 2439. I just want to throw one little comment out is, I think, Ty, this is some of your best work with something that's been 100-year-old Hatfield McCoys. So
Good work.
thank you for your efforts.
Good job.
Thanks for the support. I wouldn't be able to enter into any concept of negotiation if I didn't feel supported by the council. I'd have had to just flat out say, I don't know, we'll have to ask. So it went a long ways on the process.
Well, thank you.
Well, you do well in your timing and bringing us along too. I mean, it isn't a surprise when it's here, so thank you there.
So just a couple of quick questions, Ty. So any timeline on this name change?
They're supposed to take over. I hate to commit them to it, but it was supposed to be the first of the year.
First of the year?
Yeah. So we've had discussions too about a new sign, so allowing a sign out front, visible from the freeway.
Go a little higher.
Yep. Yeah.
So,
So
and so I imagine Comfort Inn and Suites, I assume they franchise out these hotels in different locations. Is that correct? And that's what this
yeah, so
Reviva is?
yeah, so they've researched the franchises. So the parent company owns different brands of hotels in different areas, and they've researched the franchise that makes the most sense and is most accommodating to here. And I think the layout of the hotel also lends itself to some of those rooms are larger for suites. So, you know, you have to look at what it would take to convert a hotel from one brand to another and stuff like that. So
Read somewhere, is there 56 rooms?
I think
Something like that.
something like that, yeah.
What?
56 rooms?
Oh,
Yeah, it's a little smaller than most other franchises if you started from the beginning, yeah.
Hopefully it'll have a busy ski season.
Yep.
Once again, this has been discussed.
You ready for another one?
and
I'm ready.
All right. Mayor, I'll make a motion that we pass resolution 24-39, a resolution adopting, approving an economic development incentive agreement between Morgan City, the Morgan City Redevelopment Agency, and Brava Hotel LLC. Comfort Inn Suites.
Second that, Mayor.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Dave?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Tony? Jeff?
Aye.
Jeffrey?
Aye.
Okay, that's unanimous, Denise.
That is a good deal.
Eric, do you need some oxygen? You've been pretty.
Hey, well, if I'm never here, I figured I might as well do my part on the time I am.
Look how quick we're gonna get out.
Okay, let me ask the city council if they have any up-to-date exciting things for us.
I do, Mayor.
Okay,
Compliments to Ty and crew for the new entrance into Morgan City. I have been getting so many compliments on how that looks already. People are excited about that. That was a good project. I've been getting a lot of feedback on that, good feedback. So that was a good project.
Get any other questions? There's a really good staff. We included our parks, our roads, like we had a pretty good group of departments, and Jake, our planner, did most of the design work. So it was a really good kind of team effort. We did bring some concepts, I think, before that you got to review and stuff like that. But the lettering is a couple weeks out. So there's gonna be on the uprights of those rails, it'll say, "Welcome to Historic Morgan City." And they're gonna be a lit sign with I think they call it RGB. So you can change the colors of the sign on a color wheel. And so we haven't really talked about it, but one of the thoughts would be, it would be kind of cool to pick some colors, and then when we have home games or we win a game at the
Yeah.
high school, to kind of maybe make it maroon or something. And
Can it flash?
we probably don't want it to flash.
Just
With the
thinking
traffic, I mean,
The you know, when
Oh.
it flashes.
oh, yeah, I don't know if it
it
flashes.
wasn't flashing the other day.
So,
Just a
Thanks,
little
Eric,
jab
and-
there. No, thank you.
thanks. It'll be a lot easier to maintain. People didn't realize that we mowed that. Like a lot of people, it's like, why are you doing that? I'm like,
Well, and that's interesting because I told people that when they were asking about it. And I said, can you imagine us trying to maintain that? And they're like, oh,
yeah.
I says, this is gonna be much, much better. And they complimented on how well that looks. So.
Then the-
Everybody that I've talked to has been way excited to know there'll be a lit up sign there.
Mm-hmm.
And then there'll be a reader board sign by the 7-Eleven on that other strip that we own. That'll come next year, like in January.
Perfect.
So it's all plumbed in and everything, but they'll actually install that sign. It'll be a pretty good resolution.
The only disappointment I had was we couldn't put that big flag up there.
Yeah.
So the mayor is gonna talk to a landowner to see if we can get an easement to
On a hill,
great big sign up.
big
or
flag.
flag up with,
That'd be awesome.
How did the railroad, did they finally go along with the request? They were causing a little stink there to begin with.
Yeah, we had asked for the wrong type of a permit. We were asking for basically what came down to an access agreement instead of a beautification.
Okay.
And so we were just on the wrong path, not knowing what we were
Gotcha.
asking for, but,
So it was our bad.
yeah, and we're not a landowner. We're just, we already had it beautified. We
they're okay though.
we didn't sign anything.
Don't make him answer questions he doesn't want to in a meeting.
Wait.
On record. Yeah.
Mayor, I have a couple of comments.
Right.
On my daily walks following Cindy around, I have an opportunity to kind of get a pretty good eye on what's going on in the city. Just a couple of comments. I can't believe how much traffic there is on over that new bridge over there at 8 o'clock in the morning. You look at that and you think, wow, this should have been done a long time ago. It was just almost bumper to bumper the other morning. So I think that was a project that was long overdue and has been very successful. It's the end of the other one is it's the end of the season. I commented the other day how well I thought the park looked, how well I thought the cemeteries looked. Just kudos to our park department. I'm proud of them again. So let them know that, please. And
Well,
the park looks really nice and, you know, I think that probably may have been a good decision as well, maybe if, you know, to contract that out. So
That bridge, Tony, could see that out my back door and that starts way before sunlight.
yeah,
It's busy. Yeah, so there
Yeah,
was
it's
a
just,
definite demand.
incredible. And so anyway,
Did you walk
I-
under it?
huh?
Did you walk under the bridge?
I have, yeah. It's awesome.
Have I?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I walked all the way up to the new parking lot, you know?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I mean, I was just thinking the other day, you know, there's been a lot of good things done in the last, you know, over the last few years, well, several years actually, but yeah, I think we've made some great improvements to
Been
the
off some
city
big
and,
projects and
yeah. And I'm with the mayor. I've had two people from down below that's walked up to me and said, hey, that sure looks good going into your city now. And I said, oh yeah, you've been up to Morgan? Oh yeah. And, you know, we was up there to Bingham's. I said, it looks really good going into your city. So yeah, a lot of good things happening. So
And the walk under bridge is,
of course,
there's some fish lining up under there.
of course, everybody tells me it's going to be underwater in the spring, but oh, well.
It was designed that way.
Yeah,
I wish we could do the same thing over here by the park and the transfer station.
Yeah, that would be.
And the
The only
hard one
problem
there-
is it would be underwater all the time.
Yeah, I wish we could do something
go by the park and the transfer station.
by crossing at Josephine Clark's
Oh,
to get across that road.
It's a narrow bridge.
And it's a busy road.
Busy road. I've seen moms trotting their strollers across
Trying
in
to-
between traffic.
Yeah, I wish we could get something safer there.
Well, I'm a believer in what you concentrate on is what comes to pass. So I think Ty's already got ideas for that, so.
Good. One other, Million Kids on Halloween spectacular. That is just a mess and it works. So it is incredible what it does out here, but and
500,000 from out of town, right?
we yeah, or more. We survived and another one. So that brings a lot of people. Wow.
250,000 from Layton.
Lisa's fault. She gives out candy everywhere she goes.
Yeah. I'm looking for a diamond ring.
That's a,
We gave out just over 1,600 rings that
A little
night.
of ring
Mhm.
pops.
Ring pops that night.
Wow.
It's awesome.
place to live.
Yes, it is.
I was actually watching a documentary on the top cities in the state of Utah to live, and they had this not like off of the Wasatch Front, like rural and access to healthcare and all this factors that played into it, and cost of the housing and cost of the living and stuff. Guess what number one was?
I
Morgan.
wish they'd put.
I know,
advertising.
Yeah,
Now
yeah,
on
I
the
watched that thing and it was, yeah, they went through the top 10 places to live in the state of Utah with those parameters. And we were number one. I was like, oh, I didn't need to see
Yeah.
that.
Like,
Like,
be cool to link something like that on our website though.
it was on YouTube, but I'd have to go back and
Like
see
if
if I
you
could
found
figure it
it.
out.
Just see if it's copywritten or not, but
you know, and I'll say this too. I'm so impressed with our staff, not our office staff, our shop. I mean, I walk in the office, everybody's more than happy to help me out and lend me a hand and same with the shop staff as well. And it's just, it's a pleasure to work with the professionals that we work with. And makes our job a lot easier as well. So kudos to them.
That's especially to you, Denise.
That is directed toward Denise in a large part, yes. But all of them have been, I think, very helpful, so.
I concur.
Okay. City manager updates.
So, hometown Christmas is on December 7th.
It's coming fast. Wow.
Going fast, yeah. But the chamber's been meeting every week to get ready for that. The city and the county are doing a tree to donate, so we're joining forces and doing a little first responder tree. I'm not sure how little it is. It's probably gonna be it'll be like 6 feet, but it'll have a lot of stuff on it, and then we're gonna decorate it together, so that's kind of fun. They're contributing about half and we're doing about half, so that'll be fun. Then our Christmas party, you have a flyer scheduled for the 20th. Make sure you let Laurie know if you plan on being there so we can get enough food. Then Wasatch Integrated also, there's a flyer on your desk if you want to help them celebrate 40 years of service. So I'll go through the details, but that's on there. Then just projects are still wrapping up. The budget's been submitted to the auditor, so our audit's further ahead than it was last year. Last year we didn't do anything till after the first of the year, wasn't it? Yeah, February, so
You have it back before the end of the year, do you think?
I think so,
Yeah.
yeah. Everything else is moving along unless you have any questions about projects, yeah?
Yeah, no, just wanted to piggyback on this, Wasatch Integrated. I realize it's on a Friday, it's during the workday. But if you've never been down there to see what's going on down there, I think you'd be pretty amazed with what's going on. With the MRF, they got a new cardboard baler down. I mean, it's a pretty first-class operation down there. So, and they'd be welcome to, I mean, you'd be welcome down there for a tour anytime. Nathan would be more than happy to give you a tour, just not on this date, but yeah, if you have a chance to get down there and see what Morgan City is a part of. So it's actually pretty impressive. So just a little shout out to that.
And then we're not planning another meeting in November, just a reminder that.
How does that schedule with our subdivision ordinance? When do you plan on doing that?
Do you know, Denise?
Okay, I've printed off, it's a live document, so Jake's been making changes to it. But I went out there today and there's been quite a bit done. So I went ahead and printed one off for you guys to start reviewing it. They will review it on the 19th and forward it to us, I'm hoping. They've got a public hearing scheduled, so they should be able to recommend approval to you guys for December 10th.
Public hearings on the 19th.
On the 19th. And so then it will come to you, on the 10th of December. If we don't pass it on the 10th, then we have to have a special meeting to get it done by December 31st.
You're on the 24th.
You just vetoed that idea.
What would the consequences be if it didn't happen till after the first of the year, the actual passage? You what? Yeah. Mayor goes to jail?
Just make it quick.
It's really no consequence. Then, I mean, it wasn't meant to be consequential. It was
Yeah.
meant to be an
Okay.
incentive to get it done, but we're really close
Okay,
to getting it done, so I don't think that'll be a problem.
we're on track right now.
But yeah, no, there's really no consequence to it. I mean, you don't. Trying to think if, yearly, you're under that 5,000.
Yeah, we're
So
under
you're,
that.
you don't, they don't even look at that. So I think if you were late
Yeah,
and you did it, I think it's gonna be fine.
life still goes on.
Yeah, it will not adversely affect them.
Okay,
If it was a bigger city, it could
yeah.
affect their rating.
But Jake also mentioned if you adopt it, then we review it in January, February. So we see how that
You do it
goes.
that way too. Okay. That way you officially, if it is on the bill, you can amend it as much as you want.
Working hard.
Okay. So that under 5,000, is that an official thing? We can say we're full? We can't go above 5,000?
Might work there.
4,999.
We're done.
I know your toilets.
Okay, with no other comments?
Just one
Okay.
quick update, the underline or underground power is, how's that going?
So we're just signing the contract right now. We've got 3 bids. So we're, the contract is accepting the grant. The, just process wise. And then we've got 3 bids back for the engineering and project management. We're just reviewing the bids right now. There's quite a difference between the 3 bids, and so we just want to make sure they're apples to apples.
Yeah.
So they're getting reviewed right now.
And that's for which street?
Mostly State Street.
What's the work they're doing right now then on State Street?
That's, well, on State Street, I think secondary water, but on 100 where they're crossing State
Right.
Street, that's a gas line. Natural gas line from Enbridge.
Oh.
They're going from 300 west to Trojan Boulevard with a new gas line.
Oh, why did they need, that wasn't already there?
No, it loops, it's a loop
Oh,
that they're creating, so
it benefits them.
yeah,
Gotcha.
make sure they can.
Okay, good report. Thanks.
Okay, with that, this meeting's adjourned.
Good to see you. Missed you for a bit.
Between not having meetings, and me being
Yeah,
gone.
yeah. Seems like probably the ones you're available, we don't meet.
The ones that we actually had, I was like the last one we actually had, I was in Casper, Wyoming. At a water conference, so I was out to dinner with Chris, so I couldn't.
This was close to the 50. Well, there's a lot, the best thing I heard from somebody, they says, well, you want to point out one particular call in a game, that's a slippery slope because you can go back in that game and you can pick out 2 dozen calls. I mean, they got BYU had a face masking penalty called on them. Gave Utah